everyone, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to give you my thoughts on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been on for 7 years. It started a year after the Avengers came out, and it started off on a rocky path, but it became the little engine that could. But I'll get into my thoughts on the series as a whole at the end of the video, but I'm going to focus on the Season 7 itself. I'll try to be as spoiler-free as possible, but there might be some things that slip out. You know how I am. Now, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6 ended with not only the Chromicons, which are these alien robots who Fitz and the others come in contact with in the form of Enoch, the Chromicon, played funny by, I can't remember the actor's name, but Enoch's this hilarious character who's very monotone, and he's very, yes, that is what I think we should do. And Enoch's very fun, and, but as it turns out, there are more beings like Enoch who aren't as kind to humans as Enoch is, because Enoch was designed to be more of an observer, almost like a watcher type of a robot, while there are other ones that are hunters that are, going around and, killing people without any thought or thought about it. And at the end of season 6, it's all that stuff with Coulson and that one chick and that I can't remember her name because she was so very forgettable as a villain, are all wrapped up. Coulson's doppelganger is dead, and needless to say, and now they're in a race through time. And now that the Chromicons have come to the conclusion that the only way that they can take Earth, which they think Earth is their birthright to take, like Earth is like the perfect place for them to take over and make their own, and because apparently the Chromicons don't have a home planet, they've been searching for a home planet, and of course Earth is the prime place for them to take. And basically they feel that the only way they'd be able to take Earth is to get rid of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the only way they can ever truly get rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. And the only way they can really get rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. is to go back to the past and prevent S.H.I.E.L.D. from ever being happening. And that is basically the big, large majority of Season 7 is them time traveling from about the 50s on up. I'd say about the 50s on up, and they play with that a lot this season. They play with the times. They even, from the intro being different to fit the certain time periods they're in. So, when it's in the 60s, it's all weird and it's like that weird kind of cartoon, old school, like something that you would see out of Agent Carter. Like the guy, like War of the World style thing. When they get in the 70s, it starts to get different. They get into the 80s, it starts to look different. And they play with that. They play with the environments. They play with the set design. They play with a lot of things. And it's, more importantly, it's a fun season. It's a fun season where the characters are all grown. They've all been through so much. They're still going through things. You don't minor spoilers. You don't see Fitz for most of the season. You don't see Fitz for most of the season, which I would say is a pretty much of a downer about the show. Though I did read that the reason you didn't see Fitz in most of the Season 7 is because he had scheduling problems, because I guess he's working on something else. That actor who plays Fitz has been in a lot of other things. Has been in a lot of BBC. British Broadcast Channel. Yeah, a lot of other BBC shows and whatnot. As I figured out going down the British Broadcast Channel one time, and I just saw that actor who plays Fitz in 3 different fucking shows and 2 different movies. And I was like, damn, he does a lot of this shit. So he's a busy dude. So they couldn't get him for most of the season. And obviously the season is shorter than Season 6 and Season 7 are much shorter than both of the previous seasons before it, because they cut the seasons in half. Seasons used to be about 22 to 23 episodes. Now they're about 11. They're about 12. They're about 12 episodes. So they basically cut it in half. And it did help with the budget, and it helped with other things too, but it's nowhere near as long as it used to be. It used to be essentially 2 seasons in one. Essentially, there'd be the beginning of season 1, the first 12 episodes would be an entirely different thing, and then the next episode would be an entirely different thing. So that Ghost Rider thing happened in the same season that that the whole Madam Hydra reverse mirror world Matrix thing happened in, where you got fucking Fritz, aka Framework Fitz, and like I said, you got that's how they used to be. But like I said, the seasons got cut in half, and we got what we got. So there's not much else I could say about the show, season 7, without spoiling it, except it's a fun time travel show. It gets more into the characters. Everything comes to a conclusion, and by the time you get to the series finale, it does make... Now, the series finale has its problems, which I will get into in a separate video, but overall, it was a good series finale. It was a good final season, and trust me, I've had a lot of shows that I've seen the final season, series finale, the episode, and came out a little underwhelmed. For instance, I'm on the hill here, but I do think that both Preacher and Legion had very underwhelming series finales that felt a bit rushed. Noah Hawley nor Seth Rogen will come out and say that they got canceled, so they had to get done what they wanted to get done faster than they wanted to get it done. But that's what it felt like. It felt like both Legion and Preacher had to get done whatever they wanted to get done quicker than they wanted to get it done, because by the time you got to the series finale, things were just happening that didn't certain things were just happening just like that, and it was just like, really, that's it? That's all this is for? So you kind of left me with the, really, that's it? And that's the vibe I felt watching both the season finales of both Preacher and Legion, and I did not get that from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, you know what? This makes sense. I appreciate this. There are some logical loopholes and some other things that I have a problem with the series finale, but overall, it was still satisfying as an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan to see it. I thought Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 deserves an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a damn good season. It's in the top 3 best Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. seasons. I still have a soft spot for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for Season 3, and particularly the season that Ghost Rider was introduced in, which I believe is Season 4. I still have a soft spot for those 2 seasons, especially with Ghost Rider and the Framework. I thought there was some great drama in there. Some fantastic drama, some great... Ghost Rider just notched that up a bit. But overall, I do think this is one of the better seasons. I had a lot of fun watching it. It had a direction. You knew where it was going to have to wrap up eventually, but it had a direction. I had a lot of fun watching it. I didn't want to miss it. I had a lot of good times watching it, and this season contains within it one of the all-time greatest Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes, which I won't get into here, but the Deke Squad. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The Deke Squad. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you watched this last season, you know what I'm talking about. That episode was the bomb. But moving on to a little bit of the tail end, I'm going to save a little bit of time to talk a bit about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s legacy. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the first big Marvel television show. Once Marvel got bought by Disney, at first it was one entity. Marvel Television and Marvel Studios were technically one entity. And Marvel TV, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was supposed to be the first show to tie in. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was supposed to be in a complete tie-in to the MCU. And in the first season, it was. I'd say the first 2 seasons, it was connected to the MCU and it was tied in. After that, you can argue back and forth all day about how you think it tied in after that. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm going to get into that in another video. But I digress. And its legacy means a lot. It's the longest running live action Marvel television show. There has never been a longer Marvel television show than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In fact, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is pretty much one of the longest running Marvel shows, period. I can't think of another Marvel show that had 7 seasons off the top of my head. And that's a big deal. It's something that, a lot of people jumped on kind of bash Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They come at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. A lot of people don't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it was kind of a struggle for a long time for me to just try to find some people to watch. And I ended up finding a lot of people on AfterBuzz and whatnot who do watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. AfterBuzz TV who watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And for a long time I was just it was just this quiet thing that I watched. I watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And even I will admit I didn't particularly think the first season was good at all. I thought the first season was pretty bad. But it was one of those things where I kept watching, and I kept watching, and the show kept getting progressively better, and progressively better, and progressively better, to the point where me going through the struggles of watching that terrible season 1 kind of almost made me like, I don't know how to describe it, but kind of made it like, you know what? I've been through it with you. I've been there when it was at its lowest, and I'm here while it's at its highest. You know, the characters have all done, and it's a great story arc. Like, if you see season 1 and you see the last season, it is a complete arc for all the characters. By the end of season 7, I mean, if you see season 1, and you feel that while you're watching this final season, I mean, Daisy started off as just some hacker, and then she would go on to be Quake the superhero. Mac was just a mechanic who had a friend who was an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he'd go on to become the head of the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Melinda May didn't even want to get involved, didn't really want to even get involved in fighting anymore because she was growing cold from the events that happened in her past. And, and she went from badass who doesn't really care and who's just by the book, and Coulson is the soft spot, like her heart, her softer spot, to she's softer now. She's soft-spoken. She's calm. She cares now. And, like I said, like Simmons and Fitz went from tech geeks who wouldn't harm a fly, who don't even know how to badasses in their own rights. Like, fucking Fitz is a straight up, like, Fitz is legit, man. Like, Fitz, there's a darker side to him that was explored in season 4, but you end up finding out about all these characters. All the characters are so different than when they started, and that's long-term storytelling at its finest, because if the characters aren't different by the time that the show wraps up, then you really didn't do a pretty good job at all. If the characters are the exact same people they are, then you did a shitty job. You really didn't do anything. And the fact of the matter is, watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just like, when you get to that final season, the final season, it really makes you reflect on the fact that the characters are so different than where they started. And it's such a great thing to see from a show. And like I said, the show is never going to win any awards. The show is never going to get the love that it rightfully deserves. But I had a blast watching the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was the little engine that could. I call it that all the time. Whenever I talk about it, I say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the little engine that could. People have tried to cancel this show. People have bashed this show. And it's lasted through all of the storms. Clark Gregg has played this character for much longer than anyone thought he would. He was great in it. I hope he finds some other roles, but he'll always be Coulson to me. I hope the rest of the cast can get to go off and do other amazing works that I can get to see. Because I'll be watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be on Disney. Will pretty much be on Disney Plus until the sun burns out. So, like, Disney has a show to put on, a long-form show to put on there that people could watch over and over again. They have a show like that, and I think that's a big deal to them. They have a show that you can go on and binge and watch multiple seasons. I'm probably going to rewatch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. eventually. I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over again. I haven't rewatched it in a long time, because the show's been on and it's been going, so I've kind of just been, with Supernatural, which is another love of mine that I wish would get more respect. I every few years or so, I'd watch Supernatural from the beginning to all the way up to the latest season. Every couple years, not all the time, but like every 2 or 3 years, I would watch it over again, because Supernatural was just constantly coming out. It was just constant in my life. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was sort of the same, but I would just keep, watching it. But now that it's wrapped, now that it's over, now that we're most likely, and I know this is gonna be a sticking point for some people, never gonna see any of these characters again and anything again. It's this contained 7-season thing. I'm probably gonna watch it from the beginning to up to, the 7th season again sometime soon. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but I'm probably gonna do it sometime soon. Maybe in a couple months from now when it's all on Disney Plus or it's all on Netflix, I'll just say, you know what, I'm gonna just watch it from beginning all the way up to this point. Because, like I said, it was a hell of a journey. It was a hell of a journey. It was a hell of a thing. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will always go down in history as the longest-running Marvel television show. It will go down in history as one of the longest-rating ABC shows. And honestly, it will always be one of those one of the signs of the early Marvel. And honestly, the reason that it's getting canceled has very little to do with, it actually being bad, and more to do with Feige taking over and there being a new era. And but the good news is, at least the writers, unlike Netflix, Netflix, ABC, and whatnot, actually gave the Agents of Shield guys a heads up about this is exactly what you got, so you better have it wrapped up by this. So that way they had time to do that. The Agents of Shield guys got 2 seasons to wrap everything up. 2 seasons. Netflix don't even do that for their people. So at least they got that, which is probably why the results turned out as well as it did, because they had such a long time to come up with how they wanted to end it. But you know what? I'm going to wrap this up here. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7. What did you think about it? Did you enjoy yourself? What is your favorite Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing? What is your favorite episode? Just comment below. What are you going to miss about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I give Season 7 an 8.5. I had a little blast with the entire series as a whole. The entire series as a whole is probably a whopping 7, just because their lows are really low, but their highs are really high. So it's probably a whopping 7, the entirety of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I still enjoyed myself. It was one of those things where we watch people long enough, they sort of become family to you. Not family in a literal sense, but, you know, it becomes a part of your life. Like, watching something becomes a part of your life. It becomes, oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I've watched these characters for 7 years. You watch anything long enough, they start to become a part of your life, not unlike the Avengers and the MCU itself. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.